Hey musicians, I'm Deanna and welcome to the Notable Musician Podcast, your go-to destination where business meets the music. Whether you're a seasoned artist or just starting out, this podcast is your backstage pass to the real business side of being a musician. Here we delve into the secrets they don't teach you in music school or music lessons. Join me as we uncover the behind-the-scenes insights that make notable musicians stand out in the industry. And welcome to the Notable Musician Podcast. My name is Deanna, and this is your go-to destination where we blend the art of music with business strategies. So whether you are a seasoned artist or you're just starting out, this is your backstage pass to the real business behind the music. Thank you all for joining me today. My name is Deanna, and this is just an intro podcast. I am here just so that I can meet you and you can meet me. And my goal is to help you if you are interested in having a career in music, or maybe you already have a career in music and there's more that you want to do, then my goal is to help you do that. I am not claiming to be an expert in everything, which is why I will bring on people to bring their expertise to you and to me. It took me a little while to bring this podcast to life because we'll talk about this in a future episode, but my mindset of comparing myself to other people who are doing really great things and have been doing this maybe longer than me, or maybe have been more successful than I have. I have those things floating around in my head, and I'm like, who am I to start a podcast about the business of music? And when I stopped and I thought about it, this is something that is very much on my heart and I'm very passionate about. And you'll notice that I kind of get a little riled up when we talk about certain things. And that was my clue that I cannot keep this to myself, but I have to share it with other people, because I believe that there is an abundance of ways that we can use our gifts and talents as creatives, as musicians, and bring that to the world. And we don't have to be scared that, if we tell people some of our quote secrets, that there won't be enough for us. And I actually think that's the opposite. So there are billions of people on this planet and billions of opportunities for us to share our gifts with other people. So that is my passion, and that is what this podcast will be about. So just so you can know a little bit about me, I won't harp on this too long, but I am married to my high school sweetheart for going on 24 years at the time of this podcast. 24 years will be in May. And we have 3 wonderful children. I have a 19-year-old, so he's adulting ish. I have a 16-year-old and a 12-year-old, all boys. So I am in a house of boys. I'm the only queen. I kind of like it that way. It's fun. But yeah, so I went to school twice for music. So I have a bachelor's degree in music education with a specialization in choral music education. And then in 2022, I graduated with my master's degree in musical arts. And before that, I started in music when I was young. I went to performing arts schools starting in elementary school all the way up through ninth grade. And then I kind of moving my microphone. This is for real people. I dropped out of that career of going to performing arts schools because I had been going to magnet schools for so long, and I was always bused to a school that was far away. So I didn't really know the kids in my neighborhood. And the school that I was slated to go to was New World School of the Arts in downtown Miami, which it was on a college campus. Miami-Dade Community College, which now I think it's called Miami-Dade College. Um, my life would have been a lot different. So they didn't have a football team, they didn't have a stadium, and I had been involved in music for so long that I just wanted, like a normal high school life. So my parents were very supportive, and I decided to go to my local high school, and I was there and graduated and then went on and, I told you the college stuff. So that's what happened. Um, I taught for a little while. I also had a private studio with students while I was teaching in the public school. Um, I taught various levels, but I'll go into that maybe at another time. But then I left teaching to help raise my kids. And while I did that, if you're a teacher, you do not get paid that much money. And when I looked at it, my paycheck actually I would be working to send my child to daycare. And I'm like, not going to do that. I'm like, what are the skills and abilities I have that I can use that I can, bring in income? So I started my own private studio at home. And I worked, I think, 2 days a week, and I made half of my money that I made as a teacher. So that's what I did for many years. And I did some other things, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but I don't want to harp on that for too long. But I have some experience in different areas of music, and sometimes I get into my head and think like I haven't done enough or I'm not good enough because I stayed home with my kids, and I just taught. um I also performed, here and there. But I didn't go after that, but we're going to talk about that also in a future episode, about how to get work and to get gigs and repeat customers. I do have experience in that, and I will share with you my secrets because why not? I hope that you are successful too. I will also have a co-host that will be coming on every so often, and you'll learn about him in a few episodes. I'm excited to bring him on. So sometimes you'll get me, sometimes you'll get him, sometimes you'll get the both of us. So I think it'll be fun. We'll bring on experts to, as I said, help you. And also, I want to learn a few things as well. If you wouldn't mind, this is new to me, so please bear with me. I don't have to, but I mean, it's important to do the spiel so that you know how this stuff really works. I just put up my subscribe button. So if you are listening or looking on YouTube, if you wouldn't mind subscribing and hitting the notification bells if you want notifications. I don't know what else there is. What, the like button? You could do that as well. I am also on wherever you can get your podcast. So if you are listening through a podcast, software, I don't even know what to call it, but wherever you get your podcast, I hear people saying that. So wherever you get your podcast, you can also look for Notable Musician as well, and you can subscribe there. And also, if you leave a comment or review, that would be wonderful. And you can also leave comments for me here on YouTube. My goal is not to bring information that I think you need, but give you information that you want. And so I know the things that I needed and the things that I wanted, they were sometimes different at different times in my life. But I want to know what it is you want to know. And you can do that and help me with that by leaving a comment and letting me know. You can also share this with other people that you think this may be helpful for, and that would be awesome. So I want to at least give you like one tip today. Okay. This is an introductory podcast, but I want to give you at least one thing. One of the things that took me a long, long time to learn along this journey was that I need to be in love with the art that I produce. What does that mean, Deanna? That means that no, of course, I'm not always going to sound perfect or play perfectly, but I really need to be comfortable with who I am and what it is I love to do in this industry. I have gone through some phases in my life where people wanted different things from me that was really different from the core of who I was as an artist. And because I can, change a little bit like my voice and kind of fit in and things like that, I did that for years. And I actually lost my voice, and I'm not talking about, physically losing my voice, although, sometimes I did get sick and I physically lost my voice. But what I mean is the true essence of my singing voice was lost because I was trying to, change it to fit in and be like someone else. And this goes out to especially you young artists. I know you guys have like YouTube, you have the internet. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but we did not have that. And so we did not have the amount of opportunities that you have to listen to other performers, singers, artists. So, um, one of the things that can be difficult is when you are trying to sound like someone else or be like someone else, or someone wants a certain thing and you're like, "Oh, I think I can do that," and then you change. And I'm not saying you can't change. I think I've had some experiences in my life where I've had someone give me a song and I was kind of like, I would have never picked this for myself. But he was really good at like choosing songs for people. And he heard something in my voice and he would choose these songs. And I'm like, I don't know about this. But then when I started singing, I was like, oh, yeah, this is pretty good. I kind of like this. So I'm not saying that you can't go out and experiment and try different things, but you have to make sure that the core of you as an artist remains true. And so I lost that. And it took me years to get it back. And sometimes I find myself kind of flipping that switch where I'm like, oh, will they like this? Do they want this? And I'm here to tell you, okay, there are billions of people on this planet. There are people who like and will like your art, your music, your creativity the way that you are. And you do not have to change. There are people who won't want it. And you know what? Sometimes we're never told this, like, it's okay. We are not here to serve everyone on the planet. Our gift is meant for certain people, and it's our job to share it. And I honestly believe that the people who are meant to experience your gift will experience your gift because they are attracted to the person that you are and the type of music that you bring. And even though there may be other music that's more popular, or there's a vocal sound that sounds like really cool now and everybody's trying to sound that way, you don't have to go down that road if it doesn't feel good to you in your core, if it doesn't feel like home to you in your core. It's okay. It's okay to sound like you. You have to be in love with you first so that you are comfortable and willing to share it with other people. Um, that's all I'm gonna say about that for now. I can totally go down a whole road. There's perfectionism. There's all kinds of things. But I wanna leave you with that, okay? Today, be okay, be in love with the artist that you are and the journey that you are on, because there are people who are meant to experience you as a person and all of the experiences that you have had and have put together and have packaged into the person that is you. So that is all that I have for today. Otherwise, I'll be on here for an hour, because there's so much that I want to be able to share with you and experience with you. And I really do hope that you leave some comments and let me know your thoughts about where you are on your journey and what are some things about business and music. So before I go, let me do make sure that I clarify this. So, for me, when I'm talking about business and music, I'm not talking about the music business. I'm talking about like legit business practices, like having a customer CRM, having an email system, having a calendar for social media, learning how to do your books. Yeah, I have some things about that. Um, Paying yourself. Um, Knowing that when you say or you're thinking about saying yes to a certain gig, is that gig really profitable? You know, $150 for 3 hours sounds good. Until you look at, well, they're asking for all this custom music. I have to drive really far. I have all of these tolls. I have to get there 2 hours early. It takes me an hour to unload. I'm just giving an example, right? And you end up with 8 hours. So $150 for 8 hours, plus the practice of the custom songs you put on top. Right? So we typically as artists don't think about those things. So though that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the real business behind music. Because in general as a profession, we need to raise the bar because historically, especially over the last few years, um, our music is looked upon as a hobby and not as an actual career. And sometimes, some of you know this, you talk to your families about being a musician or being a creative or in the creative space. And like, I want to do this for a living. And they're like, you need to find something you need to fall back on. Okay. Or that's not steady. That's not stable. You need to have a 9 to 5. So I'm not against a 9 to 5 job or anything like that. I'm not against anyone doing music as a hobby. I just want to make sure that we all have information that is helpful to us to make the right decision when it comes to our music career and the path that we want to take. Um, because when we do go to music lessons or we do go to music school, they they only give us a certain way, and we develop our skills as a musician, and then it feels like we're just thrown out into the world and we're like, okay, here you go. If you practice enough and if you sing well enough, then the people will come and you'll get work. And I'm telling you, that is a lie because I know people who are super talented and are not in music or are not making money as a musician. And then I know people who are not as talented and they have a music career and they are a full time musician. So I think what the difference is, I know what the difference is basic business practices, which we are not taught. And if you are in school, you need to make sure that you learn basic business practices. And I have taken quite a few classes, and I'm very happy to share that information with you and hopefully will be helpful to you. So we're already at 21 minutes, and I was like, let's do 10. And we're already past that. But as I said, there's so much I want to share with you. So, again, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead, like, and subscribe. And you can find me here on YouTube, on Instagram, and Facebook. And make sure that you come back next week because we're going to delve a little bit more into the mindset that you need to have as a musician who is running a business. And we'll also talk about some of the things that you need to consider to see if having a music business is something that you actually want, because it is okay if you don't want it. It is a lot of hard work. So come back next week and then we will talk about that, the mindset that you need as a musician who is running a business. My name is Deanna. Again, I want to thank you so much for joining the Notable Musician podcast, and I will see you next time. Bye.